And we're back with another episode of B Scar TV, and I have a very, very special guest today. My man, Vince Biegel, aka Biggs. Biggs, how we feeling, man?
B Scar, I appreciate you having me on, man. It's good to catch up, man. It's long overdue.
I always like to start off the show with my personal nickname for the guest. And Biggs, that is my nickname for you. You had a few other nicknames though, at least in the Miami Dolphins locker room. Schmigs is the one I remember.
I don't remember that too much. That was another nickname you gave me, I think.
Is that my? Oh, that's also mine.
Yeah, that was also yours. Yeah, Biggs, Beagle, Diesel. Always call me Vince.
Or Vince. I've never heard anyone call you Vince.
Same. Usually, you know how it is in the locker room. You just keep it nicknames, last names, one syllable. You know how it is.
Yes. Want to start it off just a little topical. We're in a crypto winter. You educated me on cryptocurrency really early on. I was in it before I met you, but I know much more now since I've met you. And the crypto markets are just being slaughtered right now. It's October 2022 and we're just in some dark days. How is your crypto portfolio? Just give me your outlook.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, B Scar. And I love how I think a lot of people think when you're in an NFL locker room, it's strictly football. But as you know, B Scar, it's so much more than that. It's us as men, it's whatever businesses we got cooking up, it's real estate, it's stocks, and guess what? We love crypto too. So I've really gotten into crypto since 2020, and I got into it when I tore my Achilles the first time in 2020. And I had the time to research it and really dive deep into that asset class. And the more I dug, the more it really intrigued me. And obviously, 2020 to 2021 was a great run up. And then we've had, since call it November of 21 till now, it's been very dark, and it's been brutal.
It's been brutal. We can be honest.
You check out your crypto portfolio and it's down 70%. It's dark times, but I think anytime you're an investor, and by the way, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor either. It's just having a long outlook, and whether that be in crypto, with your equities and stocks, real estate, it's having that long, that sight and being able to invest long term. And that's kind of why I invested in crypto. I think it's the future. I really do. I'm heavily invested in Bitcoin. It's been really fun, just kind of for me to be able to explore other interests. And as you know, B Scar, we love talking about in the locker room.
No, it's definitely something that I think we bonded over during our time. And for me, I agree with you. I think that cryptocurrency is not going away. I think digital currency is something that just makes sense given how the world is trending.
That's
and
right.
We now, we already see and place tangible value upon digital presence. Value is placed upon a certain number of followers on a platform, or how much value is placed upon how many views a video gets. So it seemed like the next iteration of that is actually being able to exchange digital value. It just seems like it's trending that way.
I think really everything will be digitized, right? Real estate will be digitized. We are starting to see currency becoming digitized. What I mean by real estate is, instead of one person owning, $1 million property, well, we can chop it up into 10 pieces or 100 pieces or 1,000 pieces, whatever and everybody can share in that asset class. And you're already starting to see that today. And also, you have blockchain technology, which is obviously taking over as well. And you have institutions that are becoming more and more interested. There's been so much positive news coming out about institutions, adoption into crypto. I think a lot of people got to continue to have faith and remember that, the crypto asset class has a really bright future, which I'm fired up about. And so much so that during this crypto winter, I've actually doubled down in most of my positions and, putting kind of my money where my mouth is.
I love that. I got a notification saying that Google hit a 52-week low today.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just a sign of the times that we're in.
Yeah.
Google isn't a lesser part of our lives than it was in 2021 or in 2020,
Yeah.
where they're not truly devalued as a company. It's just a sign of the times. And
Yeah.
so I think it's maybe take that into consideration as we view the crypto market, kind of just a sign of the times, rather than moving backwards as a technology or being less a part of the future than we thought it was going to be in 2020 or 2021 during the bull run.
Yeah. I mean, well, all asset classes have been really hit over the last, call it, 6 to 9 months here. Equities, the housing market, we're starting to see now softening, obviously in crypto.
We love that.
Yeah.
We love
So,
that.
there's, with that comes opportunity as well, right? If you've been sitting in cash positions, this is a great opportunity. What really got me interested in crypto was during the pandemic, we saw 40% of the money supply was printed in about a 48-month span, which had a lot to do with the run up in prices of real estate and so forth. So be able to own something that's decentralized, away from the government and so forth, that was appealing to me, which got me interested into Bitcoin. It's really exciting. As an athlete, we're blessed enough to become, get into money early on, and I think it's really up to us to be able to educate ourselves and to be able to put ourselves and our money in positions where we see growth.
I feel that, and I think maybe for everybody that's listening or watching, it's important to understand that these are two guys talking right now who have, number one, dealt with injuries in the past,
Yep.
right, and more importantly, spend a lot of off time and downtime studying other things outside of the game
That's
of
right.
football. And so when you mix those two, like that type of person and a situation in which you're rehabbing and it's a lot of downtime, it's a lot of free time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of room for rabbit holes and for some deep learning in things like cryptocurrency and real estate. And
Dude, like when you're rehabbing B-Scar, like you said, you have the time something that we have
you
never
have
really
the
had in
time.
our careers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, what are you going to do with that time, right? Are you just going to sit there and play video games? Or are you going to sit there, and us as competitors, we're always having that growth mindset, right? Whether that's in football, whether that's in business, whether that's in your professional career, whatever it is, having that growth mindset, I think, is so huge. And
Mm-hmm.
just becoming passionate in other interests too. Like you having this podcast, I think is phenomenal. I think it's really inspiring too. Like I give you a ton of credit because that takes a lot of energy. It takes courage. It takes resources. So, just having able to have this conversation with you is a huge credit to you.
I appreciate that. And it's like, it's kind of marry the two things that you just said together. Like I am
Yeah.
just like you, just a really curious person. There's a piece of it that's a growth mindset of wanting to, build something and be productive with myself and build something, you know, off the field and all of these things. But also, I want to know about cryptocurrency. I
Yeah.
want to know about real estate. I want to know about the world of podcasting and media, these things that I'm interested in, and that kind of just start digging. Sometimes the hardest part of really like executing is not having a team around you.
Yeah.
And so for me, just like on the field, it's important to have guys around you that you trust. That when I set the edge, I know that my three technique in the B gap is going to be there for when that ball cuts back.
Yeah.
Or when I rush the passer, I know that my corner is going to be sticking on that receiver on that slant so I can get the sack, or
That's right.
pressure so he can get the pick or whatever. And that like team mindset, I think, is the same. I don't think I know is the same outside of the game of football. But I think it can be difficult to find that. For me, I'm never short of ideas. I got tons of ideas.
What's
It's
it
not
like?
until I had a team that I've been able to start to execute on them, like this podcast here.
I think a team's important, right? Because you hold each other to a standard and accountability. Usually we're in a routine. 7:15 special teams meeting, 7:45 team meeting. It's that regimented. What have you done to like create a new schedule and a routine for yourself outside of the walls of football?
That's a great question. And that's one that, like, as soon as I had my injury settlement with the Dolphins, and especially when I got back here to Portland, first thing was like, all right, I know I got to find a routine. I know I got to find some structure in my days. And it took a little bit, like, we've taken some pieces from what I've learned over my 7 years of playing ball. And like, we have a squad meeting on Monday just to like set alignment, debrief the week before, prepare for the week upcoming. Beyond that, like, more recently, I've started to, I use my Apple Calendar like a motherfucker. Like, I'm my Apple Calendar, like, if it's not on that, it's not gonna get done. But
Yeah.
if it is on that, that meeting is gonna happen.
Yep.
That project's gonna get attention. And so I build out my Google Calendar, and I try to build it out to be as far in the future as possible. So
Yeah.
like, ideally by Friday of this week, my whole next week will be structured.
Yeah, mapped
Each and
out.
every day I've started to theme my days. And so like, Tuesday and Thursday are big call days. Monday and Friday are like a deep work day where I really can spend some time on the projects that we're working on. Let me spend some time being creative. And then Wednesday being like a flex day.
Yeah.
And I actually got that from a LinkedIn post, which I don't know the guy's name to give him credit to, but shout out that dude.
I know for me, like my pillars are my rehab days, like, or my like my training days, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I'm still early on in my Achilles journey, right? I'm 10 weeks in. So I'm not flying around on the field yet, right? This is a long journey back.
Yeah.
So Monday, Wednesday, Fridays from 8:15 to 12:15, that's when I get all my tissue work, my rehab, and then my lift. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's I'm full dad mode. Like, that's my recovery. Those are my recovery days. I take my recovery seriously. And then those are the days that I'm able to spend more time with my girls, because Willow has school Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's those are days that I have more dad time. But also I've been doing a lot of real estate stuff. So I've been down here in South Florida, actually looking at properties. A group of other football players and myself, we've probably visited probably a dozen properties over the course of the last 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
Which is cool, just to keep your mind active and your mind going. And yes, I'm actively looking, but it's also like, there's no rush, right? There's no way pointing out a gun at me and saying, hey, you need to make a deal anytime soon. So it's getting in those reps to make myself more comfortable, so that when the right deal shows up, I took those reps and I'm ready to go.
It's great, number one, that you have the pillars of your rehab, right?
Yeah,
because that's another thing with like everything that we have going on. Got to keep the main thing in
that's
your
right.
physical health, especially after like a traumatic injury like you had, like I had. You know what I mean? It has to be the body first.
And even your mental health too. Like, I think that's just as important, because B-Scar, like, your mentals is just as important as your physicals. And when you get injured, for the first time, you really have time now on your side. You have time to be able to, do as much or as little as you want. And when you got that time, well, bro, really, since we've been playing college football, we've been go, go, go. We've been in this supersonic go mode, where it's film, it's next opponent next week, it's rehab, it's recovery, it's lift, it's meals, it's all these things where we don't ever have time to really sit, and we just let our emotions catch up to us. So when we get hurt, when we get an injury, right, we sit and those emotions from, it can be from years past, they hit you, and that's overwhelming at times because, for the first time, you're able to process these emotions, and some are good and some are bad. And this has really been the first time in my career where I've, actually sat and those emotions have caught up to me. So it's been a process mentally unpacking those things. Um, really, what does it mean to be a dad? What does it mean to be a husband? Does it mean to be a man of faith? What kind of legacy do I want to leave for my family? Like, what kind of impact do I want to have outside of the game of football? Because all of our time comes to an end one day. And what type of man do I want to be known for?
Yeah.
Those are the questions that have come up to, in my heart, being transparent with you guys over the last 10 weeks. And honestly, I feel like it's a huge blessing because you're able to deal with these emotions and you're able to become a better man. And that when I step up on the field again, man, I've seen the other side, and I've been able to deal with some of these emotions and unpack them, and I feel like then I can help another man who's going through a situation or going through, anything on a team. I can be a brother for them.
That's a beautiful realization. This is the first time that I haven't been playing football in September and October. As it's been, like, even the injuries that I've dealt with in the past, I've always started the season. This is the first time of, I got 3 weeks into training camp, got to the first preseason game, and then shut it down from there. Then going into week 1, released on the injury settlement. And, I went into work that day. We're supposed to get a lift in. And right when I walk in the building, it was somebody was going up the elevator with their playbook. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, it's that day. But then the lady looked at me, was like, oh, like, Scar, come too. And
Grim
I was
Reaper.
like,
It's the Grim Reaper.
whoa, shit. And it was like a little bit of a shock for sure, because just the way, like, contractually, it was unexpected based on my situation. I've been through 6 seasons of watching this happen to other guys, right? And now it's happening to me. And I go up there and have the conversation with general manager. Boom, I'm on the way back to the house on a day that I thought I was going to be in work. Essentially it'd been cut, and I get back to the Airbnb where I was staying, and, like, just sit on the couch, had nothing planned, and, like, to your point, in our lives, it's always been go, 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 right? And on the days that are like off days, your recovery is scheduled, or you're doing this, or this is like earned kind of just chill time.
Yeah.
To have to come home and, like, not have any of that on a day that it was just really crazy, bro. And I sat down and, like, it really hit me, just being forced to, like, sit still for a second. And, partially it's like your body is one telling you that you need this. But then it's also a sign of, like, maybe your mind needs this, maybe your spirit needs this. Like, everything happens for a reason. And I got emotional sitting on that couch.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you're saying, like, once you're forced to sit still and you're like, damn, I'm not going to be out on the field for at least another 2 months from now.
Yeah.
So, like, now what? But I do agree with you. I think that it can also be a blessing when you take the time to reflect on your life up to this point, and then it's like, what's life look like going forward? What do I want life to look like going forward?
Do you think going through that moment, Scar, like you said, 6 years in the league, you've seen the Grim Reaper collect a lot of souls. A lot of souls.
A lot of souls.
We both have seen a lot of souls being collected. Do you feel like you have a better appreciation for the game?
That's a great question. Better appreciation for the game.
Or maybe even a better appreciation for the process. Like, wow, like, man, what I was doing is really special. It's sacred. It's not a lot of people are doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think give yourself some props. Like gotten through 6 of these and now you're in your 7th. Like done a great job to this point.
Yeah.
Kind of just like self-talk, right? So almost maybe an appreciation for self and everything that, I've been through to this point, to be at this point, to even be like reflecting on this moment and experiencing this moment. Then also just, I think just maybe shifting perspective and like appreciating the ability to be at full strength and peeling back the layers on what it means to go into a training camp and be able to perform at the highest level, right?
Yeah.
Like and to go through an off season to allow yourself to do that, right? And then if it doesn't go, even if you're not able to perform at the highest level, how do you respond to that? Okay, boom, this is a failure. How do you respond to that? And I look at the game of football as really like a microcosm for life. Like I know football better than I know most things. And so being able to like take the experiences and lessons learned in football and translate them to relationships and work outside of ball, career, life, family, you know what I mean? Like the lessons are translatable if you take a moment.
The principles we learn
Mm-hmm.
Translate to off the field, like you said, the relationships and so forth, the work ethic, those things all translate.
Mm-hmm.
I think where players sometimes get in trouble is we've developed this unique skill set, right? To be the best football player, you have to put the blinders on, right? Tunnel vision, the grind, film study, recovery, lift, and then people think our off season are cool, and man, no, it's a couple of weeks off, vacation, and then boom, we're right back into training. We don't have the time to build up other skills. So then when we hop over to the other side, it's like, oh, the skills that I've been building up for the last however many years of my life, those skills no longer can bring me value. Right? My body's my business. Well, now I have to start making money with this. And I think there comes a level of humility. We're the rook again. We're the rook in whatever business where we want to be.
Right. Humility. Unpack that for me.
We've been given opportunities that necessarily not everybody has because of our physical abilities that the Lord has blessed us with. And when we don't have that anymore, society does not look at you the same. And you're not the big dog anymore. So you have to be humble. I think say it was a great ride, but you have to turn the page and say, you know what, I'm this now. And whatever next passion in that is, that's what you are. And it's the principles that you learn in the NFL that's going to make you great again at that. It's the hard work. I'll work this dude. I'm gonna put in the time. Like, it's those principles that you learn in football that's gonna make you great again, or whatever that is.
Yeah, that's real. And Biggs, let's just set the record straight for everybody. You're a dog out on that football field, an absolute dog. And I'd say this as a guy who competed against you in a training camp. We were boys, but at the same time competing.
Always.
And you could really play. And I'm curious, as we talk about kind of like translating skills, what skills that you developed or that have made you such a great football player, do you think will make you a dog in your work life outside of ball,
Yeah.
in being the best father,
Yeah.
and being the best husband, all these different roles now that you're currently taking on, but will continue long after your playing days are over?
Yeah, that's a great question, Scar. And I appreciate the kind words, calling me dog. And you know what, Scar, we've played the same outside linebacker position, and we both have the mindset, hey, I'm a starter. I want to start. And guess what? We compete our ass off against each other. But guess what? When we went to the film room, hey, that's a good ass pass rush, bro. Hey, that's a good ass.
Mhm.
Hey, that's a good ass edge, bro.
Yeah.
It was love, right? There was never like,
Mhm.
it was never like,
Always.
it was always, we always kept it real. What has helped me be successful in football is finding my why. What I mean by that is why you play the game of football. Like why do you play the game of football? And a lot of guys have a different answer. Some guys was like, hey, I wanted to get my mom out of her job. I wanted to get my mom a new house and a car. Or, my brother passed away and I want to do it for him. My why has always been to be an example of a believer and to do it for my wife, my girls, and do it for the man upstairs. And all of my actions have been because of that. I live a very not flashy, Scar, as you know.
You wear a big belt buckle though, man. You got a big belt buckle with the cowboy boots.
That's true. Hey, that's right. But I think it's like been my why that's kept me grounded, Scar. It's brought me out. It's brought me up during some really, low times like right now. My faith has been unbelievable, and it's also kept me grounded when things have been going really well.
Mhm.
And that's what's kept me focused through temptations, and that's kept me focused to be a better husband and a better father, to be a better brother in the locker room. And am I perfect? Absolutely not. Like, I'm not perfect at all, but I want every single day to try to be a better man, a better Vince Biegel,
Mm. Mm.
and to bring light, whether it's just a smile or a spiritual light. That's my why. I think everybody needs a why. I feel like the real growth and the real joy comes from a deep rooted why. And
Mm.
each person needs to find that.
Right. So difficult, right? To find that why. I mean, I think that can be the toughest question you can ask why to everything. You have young children, I'm sure they say, ask you why. Hey, go clean up your room. Why? Well, you want your room to be clean. Why?
Yep.
The whys could go deep, even as we get into adulthood and, start to think about the why of what we're doing. It really forces us to kind of try to understand on a deeper level who we are and what makes us tick and what fulfills us, you
Yeah.
know. And I think we've always wanted to be the starter. I've always felt like, yeah, they're not giving me enough opportunity. Being a guy who's played a lot of special teams in his career, which has been a good experience. But you want to be that starting outside backer. You know what I mean? You want to be rushing on third down.
Scar,
You
we
know,
come from the same cloth. We had the same position.
well, you
Absolutely.
come on now. We want to be that guy.
Yeah.
And I think that that's just that's a part of the reason why we've been able to get to where we get to in any guy in the NFL is because you have this belief that cannot be shook that you are the best out there. And if you don't have that, it's going to be, it'll show very, very quickly. There's a lot of ego involved in that too, right? There's a lot of ego wrapped up in that. And it's easy to be deterred when you go for a certain amount of weeks or months and you never are called upon in that situation or for that opportunity that you
Yeah.
want,
Yep.
right? And
Yeah.
if that happens over and over and over and over, and that's the only thing that's driving you, at some point, you just get chopped down. God willing, that opportunity shows itself at some point,
Yeah.
but to sustain and to continue to grow, that takes a different why, right? A different passion. And I think for me, it's like just the process of getting better, a little bit better every day. You know, okay, doing this rehab, my body's feeling better. I'm able
Yeah.
to run a little faster, run a little longer. I'm getting in more shape. My pass rush moves are working in one-on-ones now, you know, and it's just like being able to see those little signals of improvement. And even though they're not quite on the stage or that opportunity that, you know, you want to use it and as a part of the process to getting there, and to be able to like have that be the paradigm that you operate in, for me has been what's fueled me in a passion for this game for as long as it has, and being
Yeah.
placed in roles where, you know, not necessarily the ones that I wanted to be in, you know, but becoming a great special teams player was something that, you know, was a part of my process. So okay, like that's going to be what, you know, what I do. Let's see, you know, I'm here now. I'm at an intermediate level. Let me become a master. I want to become a master at this.
Yeah.
And now what's the process to get in there?
Right. And I think Scar, what makes the game of football so beautiful is that we work on things, right? We work on our individual on pass rush, right? And then we translate to one-on-ones, and you see that pass rush move work.
Mm.
Visually, Scar, you see the result. It's clear. It's a one rep. You won the one-on-one. Life is not that simple. Like, bro, you might have a great investment philosophy, and it might be perfect. And you invest in this 10 stocks that you think is be great, and it doesn't perform for 2 years. And then year 3, it hits. Imagine that patience. We had the privilege in one day working on the one-on-one during a individual, and then going to the one-on-one and that working. That's why I think the game of football is so beautiful. It is
Yeah.
visual, it's clear. I think it's one of the greatest competitive sports that you can play. And Scar, it grows you as a man too.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you go through injuries and trials, you're not a worse football player. I think you're becoming a better whole man.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you go through the injuries, you really appreciate how special what you're doing.
Right.
Speaking from my experience, the injuries that I've had in the last, call it 3 years really, have made me just appreciate the game of football. And it makes me appreciate the men playing it and how freaking they're warriors, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're warriors. And when I step back on the field again, I'm going to have that in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Because my football journey's not over yet either. I know I'm going to come back next year, and it's not going to be easy journey back, but I know that, and I'm ready for it.
Without a doubt.
And same thing with you, Scar. You're not, dude. Your football career's not over either, dude. You have football left in you.
Mm-hmm.
I think just having that confidence in yourself, just to say, dude, hey, I'm gonna train my ass off, and when I step on the field, I'm gonna be the best B Scar, because you've seen the other side.
Right.
You didn't play in September for the first time. You didn't play in September. You have that in your heart. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Facts, man. It always turns out to be a blessing. That's one thing that my life has taught me. Sometimes it can be difficult to see it in the moment, but you'll see it at some point, you know.
Yeah.
As we kind of pivot here a little bit. The game of football for you, Biggs, has been a part of your life from the jump, from
Yeah.
early on. As I was doing a little bit of research into the man named Vince Biegel, I realized, or I learned, that you are named after the great Vince Lombardi.
That's correct.
On top of that, you ended up in Green Bay as your first NFL team,
Yeah.
being from Wisconsin.
That's
That's
right.
nuts. That's nuts. I can only imagine the party that was had on the cranberry marshes of Wisconsin on the day that the Biegel family found out that Vince was going to the Green Bay Packers.
I was on it too. I was on the Cranberry Marsh when we got drafted too. So that's not lying. No, you're right. I was named after Vince Lombardi. I came from a football family. My dad played college football at BYU. My grandfather coached Division I football and played football and was actually the National High School Hall of Fame for head coaches. My brother Hayden is named after Hayden Fry, the Iowa head coach. My dad's named Rockney Biegel, so he's named after Newt Rockney. My uncle Thorpe TD,
Jim Thorpe.
Jim Thorpe. So my uncle named after a football player as well. So I have a great respect and love for the game. When I was drafted in Green Bay, it was one of the greatest. It was one of the greatest blessings because it was being able to play at home my first year. I was born in Wisconsin, played at the University of Wisconsin, and I got drafted in Green Bay.
Storybook.
So, I had an immense amount of pressure coming in my first year. And then I ended up getting released after my first year. They got a new general manager. They got a new head coach. They got the shuffle up in Green Bay.
Yeah, that's tough.
Dude, it honestly wasn't until a couple of years ago where I was really able to let it go finally because it weighed heavy in my heart. Because when I got drafted in Green Bay, my why, it shifted from I was playing it for the man upstairs, like I said, to like all of a sudden I was playing it for the fans because everybody had Vince Biegel jerseys on and everybody wanted to see me do good. And I wasn't happy, right? Because I wasn't living my why. When I got released, it was honestly one of the greatest blessings to happen to me because I got released and then the New Orleans Saints claimed me. So I went all the way down to New Orleans and not a damn person knew who I was. And I loved it. Nobody knew who I was. And I got in the locker room and they gave me my number, 59, the ugliest number you can have. Just an ugly workman number. And you know what I said?
Blue collar. That's a blue collar number.
You know what I said? I said, fuck it. I love it, dude. Let's do this, dude. Let's put my nose down and let's freaking work. And in 2018, Scar, we went all the way to the NFC Championship game. We ended up getting hosed by the Rams by a no call to go to the Super Bowl. It was in the Superdome. The Rams, remember we had a pass interference. They didn't call it.
Oh, bro, did we see you guys week 1? Texans Saints?
I wasn't active.
Bro,
yeah.
That was on a Thursday night. That's one of the, first off, craziest atmospheres.
Oh, yeah.
I've ever been a part of. I remember, number one, it's the first game of the season. It's on Thursday night when New Orleans, Mercedes-Benz Superdome is going nuts.
It's lit.
And I remember they had the flames and shit. And you know me, I love the camera. So I found the camera on the sideline and I looked at it right in its lens. And I got these flames in the background while I'm staring with my eye black. One of the dopest pictures I ever had in my career. I remember it getting so loud in there that this is the first time this ever happened. Like the sound reverberated down through my fingertips. It was so loud.
Scar, in 2018, playing for the Saints, I never had more fun playing game of football. We had a successful team. We won a lot of games, but dude, it was the atmosphere, like you said, Scar, the flames, dude, the New Orleans fans, what?
Yeah.
Oh, those guys are crazy for their team and wouldn't say a one lick bad about the Saints. Because I think Katrina they brought that community in close. Like, hey, we're not gonna speak ill will on our people.
Yeah.
That's why you don't ever hear. That's why you don't hear that community ever talking bad about the Saints. So you want to talk about an unbelievable atmosphere? I encourage listeners, hey, if you ever have a game or a stadium you want to go to, New Orleans is that spot.
Yeah, New Orleans is tight. God, what a game! That was a tough one for us.
What was your stats? Any sacks?
Nah, I was playing a lot of base defense, but I remember not being on the field for that final drive. And Drew Brees is marching down the field, and You guys were at like the 50-yard line. And I think there was like some like strange amount of time left on the field, because like in the fourth quarter with somewhere between like 6 seconds up through like 12 seconds, there's like 3 or 4 different things that you should do as a
Yeah.
defense, whether like you should play off, based on if the team has a timeout, because if
Yeah.
they run a play, all the time will be out. Anyways, all that stuff. So we were playing super off, like deep coverage, but we were
Oh,
only up by 2. I believe we were up by 2. Anyways, Drew Brees realizes and he calls an audible to the slot, and our star is playing off like 15 yards. And boom, he just dinks it to him on a short slant. Dude goes up, he slides, gets down. I think they hurry up. Breeze ends up spiking it. You guys end up kicking the field goal with a second or 2 left on the clock to win that game.
yeah. You know what? That was in 2019.
Was that 19?
Yep, that was 19. Because I remember they traded me to Miami. And I remember watching that game. I was like, damn, that would have been an awesome game to be in. I'm like, oh man, that'd been awesome. Well, let's hit like a 54-yard or something crazy, right?
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that fullback. That fullback with the Saints was he was a dog too. Number
Yeah.
32. He retired not too long after
Yeah,
that.
he did. I feel bad for not remembering his name, but I know
32.
exactly who it is.
Yeah.
What did you enjoy playing more at being a Texan or being a Dolphin? And I know there's pros and cons, and
Yeah.
what encompassed a better experience?
It's so situational. I think it's so dependent on who the guys are on the team. It's dependent upon like what the circumstances is on the team throughout the whole season. For instance, like if you're losing in the first half of the season and the second half of the season, you don't have a chance to get to the playoffs, then it's kind of a shitty situation versus playing meaningful games in November and December. During those seasons with the Texans, when we were running the AFC South, I think it was like 18, 19, and we were balling. Miami was a fun season in 21 for sure. Winning the division and then basically like playing for seeding that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no doubt. And 21 was a weird year. That was like the first time in NFL history where you lost 7 games straight and won 7 games straight in the same season.
Yeah, that was nuts. I'm about to go a complete 180 right now. So
What's 180 at?
what are you doing at Cranberry Marsh?
What do you do?
Sorry. I guess I'm a little confused on like why I always see cranberries in like water.
Yeah.
Like, how are these cranberries growing? Because you grew up on a cranberry marsh. I enjoy a good cranberry juice. I'm in the middle of a sober October currently, so I haven't had a cranberry vodka in a while. But when November hits, I plan to indulge myself, and it's probably thanks to some of the cranberries that you've.
You drink it. Hold on. You drinking Ocean Spray? You drinking some off-brand?
Oh, Ocean Spray.
Okay, now
cran tangerine, cran raspberry.
And we keep talking. We keep
Come
talking.
on
We
now.
have a contract with Ocean Spray, so we sell directly to Ocean Spray.
Oh, okay, of course you do. Of course you do. Only best of the best from the Biegels.
Right. Wisconsin actually produces the most cranberries out of any other place in the world. At one point, I don't know if it's still a stat, but about 50% of the world's cranberry production came from Wisconsin. And Canada has now since produced a lot more, and you got some out east. For the most part, Wisconsin really is has the main production of cranberries. And the
cranberry capital.
Really, it really is like, and the reason why is because the solidity of the soil is perfect for growing cranberries. So cranberries, they grow in this, it's about an acre, so about a football field. It looks just like a football field, and it's called a bed, and it grows in a sandy soil. And the only time, Scar, that water is on the bed is during harvest. So about 99.9% of the time, cranberries aren't even in water, really. They're they're growing in this bed.
In dirt? You say in sandy soil, like they
No,
just
it's really a sandy soil. It's a sandy soil. It's in a cranberry vine. It's like a grape. So like, a vineyard, it comes
right.
back every year.
Okay.
So the process looks like this. Spring, you're putting your fertilizers and so forth on the cranberries, and they're growing, and then comes fall, like October, like right now we're harvesting our cranberries. And at that time, the berries grow on this vine. So you fill up the bed full of water, like a football field. You fill it up with water, and then you bring on this little beater, which got these little fingers that shake the vines, and the berries are buoyant. So they float to the top, and you corral all the berries. And you got this little harvest machine that drops it, a little arm in, and it sucks the berries in, it cleans it off, and it puts it right on the trucks.
Wow.
And you drive those trucks right up to Ocean Spray, the processing plants. And then during the winter, right, it's really cold in Wisconsin. It gets below zero. You have to protect the vines. So you fill up the bed full of water, and it freezes over, and it creates this insulating layer, and it protects the vines from the cold elements of the winter. And then spring comes, right, and it melts all the ice, and then you start that process over again.
Wow.
And these vines, they can bear fruit for well over 100 years.
Damn.
And our family, we've been doing this. My great-great-grandfather started it. My great-grandpa Gordy then got it, and then he had 3 sons, and each one of those sons, they started their own marshes. And I have different aunts and uncles all over the state of Wisconsin who own and operate their own cranberry marshes. So it's a family affair, and it's something that our family is very proud of.
You think you're gonna get your own marsh?
It's funny to say, because my dad was like, "Hey Vince, hey, you want me to buy you a marsh? Well, get some money, you'll buy you a marsh. And what do you think about coming up here?"
He said, "Yo, it's about time."
I said, "Ooh," I said, "I don't know. That's a lot." You talking about football hard work? This is a lot of hard work, Scar, too.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of hard work, but it's hard work too.
I can imagine. But like getting one that maybe is already operating
Yeah, right. No, it would
is
be
a
from
little bit
garbage.
easier, right?
Yeah. It would be something you get, and it's something, Scar, that our family's proud of. And the cranberry marsh that I grew up on in Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin, that marsh has been in operation for over 100 years.
Wow.
So it's something that I'm very proud of to come from, and something that we take a lot of pride in.
Hey man, when you get your own marsh, holla at me. When you're looking at some marshes, bro, I'll go in on a marsh with you, man. Fuck that Miami bullshit. Come on, we in Wisconsin.
Hey,
With a cranberry marsh. That's tight.
My mom, my sister, and my wife, they actually started a company called Rooted in Red. No free shout outs, but a free shout out.
Hey man, for you, for Rooted in Red.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. And what my mom and my sister and my wife have been doing is they bring people in, and they have like tours. Like you can go in the cranberry bed with the waiters and do the harvest stuff, and do pictures. They have, wagon tours around the marsh, and then you're able to go in our warehouse, and it's just a great experience that you're able to be on the marsh, see what the process is like. They have this cool like farm to fork stuff where they have they like dinners out there as well, and events. So it's been really a fun thing that my mom and my sister and my wife have gotten into, and they'll kind of bring not just smiles to the community, but also knowledge and understanding to people who've never been in a cranberry marsh, who don't know what it's like in the process. So it's something that they are all passionate about.
It's definitely something I would love to come check out at some point. I'm gonna let you know, man.
Scar, listen to me. We'll get you. It'd be a free Scar tour, man. It's all inclusive for you, brother.
I appreciate that. I want to come during harvest time. I want to see it from nuts to bolts.
What's hard though, Scar, about like the harvest time, right, is like it's all pretty much all October you're harvesting. And like what are we doing in October? True. It's all ball, baby. So
that's true.
When we go to the other side, we'll get out there, okay?
Some years down the line. Biggs, I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and also just catching up with you. We have a segment called High Quality Questions for you. So I got a few rapid fire questions.
Let's do it, Scar. I'm ready for it, man.
What is one fashion trend you think needs to go, or a trend that you think needs to make a return?
That's a phenomenal question, Scar. Whoever put this together is 10 for 10. It's funny you say that because I was just at the University of Wisconsin this weekend, and the new fun thing is like these 90s short jeans. I know you like the 90s jeans, but I'm not a big fan, Scar. They need to go. The 90s jeans is not for me.
What do you mean 90s jeans?
So the girls kind of like the bell bottom jeans and like kind of like the whitewash, like the kind of like the throwback, these throwback jeans that these girls are wearing. Like I'm more of, more of like I like the slimmer fit, the jeans.
Oh, you're talking about the workers' pants. You're talking about the big baggy, like Dickies.
Yes.
Mom jeans.
Yes. The mom jeans, like they wear it up to like I feel like they're wearing up to their chest.
High waisted with the crop top. Yes, we've seen that. We have seen that.
So not a big fan of that, Scar.
Okay. And you feel like the True Religions, the Sevens tight fit jeans, you want to see those back.
Not the True Religion, Scar. With the big with the embroidered in the butt pocket.
The horseshoe. Yeah. That's funny. If you could live in any era or time other than the present, when would it be and why?
Man, that's another great question. My parents were from the 80s. I grew up around 80s music my whole entire life. I think living in the 80s was an interesting time. I would have to say the 1980s. A lot of rock and roll.
A lot of rock and roll.
A lot of big hair.
A lot of cocaine.
A lot of cocaine. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I would have partake, but it was just a good time. It was a big party.
Yeah. It looked like a good time for sure.
But then again, like the 60s were good too, right? You had generational music then with the Beatles and so forth. Maybe I'm really thinking this. Maybe the 60s, because that's when generational music was really made, and you had movements and a lot of different things. Women's rights. That's real. I think there's a lot of special things that were happening in the 60s that I think I would have been really special to be a part of.
What is your go-to celebration on the field?
I've always been known, Scar, as just to get dieseled up, flex, and scream. That's been my go-to calling that I've always had for my celebration.
That's strong. Always strong. Can't go wrong with that. That's just passion.
Yeah, passion. Exactly.
Passion right now.
You can't fake passion, Scar.
You can't. You either have it or you don't. Simple as that.
Scar, what was yours like? Yours was like the wipe it down.
Nah, that's not me. That's Judon. Judon likes that. I'm a rock boy, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
I'm down on the knee. I'm playing the guitar, Stevie Ray Vaughan style.
That's right. You rock.
I would go like a couple jabs, and then I drop it down.
Yeah.
Strum those strings. Who is the best motivational speaker you've ever shared a locker room with?
To me, that was a pretty easy one. His name is Demario Davis from the New Orleans Saints, Double D. Phenomenal leader. Not just a great leader, but a great man of faith, and just a born leader. You know what I mean? He steps in the room and he's the leader type of guy. You know what I mean? He's one of those dudes. And Double D is still doing it for the Saints, and he's a heck of a football player and a heck of a player, and still doing it at a high level, man. Double D he's the one.
He is. He can really play. And I haven't never been present, never shared a locker room with him, but I've seen some of his pregame speeches, postgame speeches. He that's, you talk about not being able to fake passion. That dude, he's a passionate player for sure.
Big time. Facts, Scar. Facts.
What teammate that you've ever had is most likely to end up on a reality TV show?
I can't say you, or could I say you?
I mean, yeah, you could say me. You'd be the first to say me.
I'm not just saying this. If I was on somebody else's podcast, I think I really would say you. Dude, you can talk to anybody though. Like you wear a lot of different hats. You can talk with the white guys in the locker room, the Zach Sealers, the guy who's talking about gator hunting. I mean, you can talk to all different aspects of the locker room. You know what I mean?
The white guys and the black guys.
White guys, black guys, Polynesians. Like, you can really relate to a lot of guys, and you got the Portland kind of swag. So you can wear a lot of different hats, and you got a lot of different facets too. So I think in a reality aspect, your dreams, because we can pair you up with a lot of different types of girls. You're single too, so it's like, you still got the world at your fingertips. So I think you'd be perfect on a set like reality TV. I'm thinking like Bachelor in Paradise. You know what I'm saying? Big guy up there. You're fit. The chicks. Yeah. It'd be a no-brainer for me.
Speaking of different hats, today is the Hooters hat. The Hooters hat, throwback, vintage, and I can code switch with the best of them. It's something that I've been blessed with, partially by nature, partially by nurture. But Biggs, man, not single in these streets, man.
Oh,
not single in these streets. So yeah, that's the Bachelor in Paradise is out of the question.
We'll put that one on ice. We'll put that one on some hard ice. Scar, listen, baby, it's all love, man. I want you to know,
it's all
brother,
love, baby.
We're brothers for life, and I really do mean that, man. And I've always have, and I always will have a ton of respect and love for your brother.
I appreciate you, bro. I love you, Biggs. I appreciate you coming on the show. And with that said, this has been another episode of B-Scar TV. Please leave a like, leave a comment, some constructive criticism. You heard Biggs. It's all about a growth mindset. We just trying to get better. B-Scar TV, baby. Catch y'all next time.